Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe it. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe it. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend. The police are after me, she said. Yeah, they held their gun to my head. Somehow I ducked, escaped, and fled the scene. Well, they already ran my ID. Yeah, they already ran my ID. They pulled me off the train in the Portland rain. Mid-November ain't the warmest ride, and the crater ain't the best place to hide, especially when you're riding suicide. Especially when you're riding suicide. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe it. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe it. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend. So I got back on when they were gone on the flagged old gondola. Then I smoked the resin in my bong, cause the police didn't find it. Woke up in a mountain range, woke to a cold, wet, lonesome pain. And then the time it came to get the fuck off the train, because the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe it. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend, for a crime I don't even believe it. Yeah, the police are after me again. She said the police are after me for being dirty, trespassing. They hate me cause I ain't clean, but I think they're the ones who are dirty.
That's a good way to start off the podcast there. Welcome everyone to the Garret Schuelke podcast. I'm the guy who hosts this thing, Garret Schuelke. I'm currently experiencing allergies, but fuck it, we're doing this podcast. Because once again, we are live here at Elmblad Media Group Studios at the Park Trade Center in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Ow, ow.
Yep, and that voice you just heard is my guest today. Probably the most frequent guest on this program.
Yay.
It is Zach Elmblad. Zach, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're currently riding a pretty big high right now because, well, basically I have switched over to Lulu because I fucking hate Kindle Direct Publishing and Amazon. So, yeah, we just did that today, and my, let's see. Yeah, it's my third novel, I believe it is. Fourth novel. God damn it.
It's hard to keep track after the third.
You know, I am just so prolific that I am literally forgetting everything.
We're dealing with a professional author over here, you guys.
Yeah.
Show some respect.
Yep. My fourth novel and the third novel in my GODAN series, GODAN, Queen of the Third Coast, is now officially available through Lulu.com. And later tonight, I'm going to go through their process to get distributed in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other places.
I helped.
Indeed you did. A little bit of background, folks. I believe I talked about this in other podcasts, but yeah, KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, has been a bitch to work with. The main reason is because, and I'm sure there's some people who have more experience with KDP than we do, but it's fickle as fuck. At least compared to Lulu, which I'm now on, and more so CreateSpace. You know, before Amazon decided to shut down CreateSpace and just publish everything through their shitty enterprise. Yeah, Zach, you want to describe to the audience the challenges we went through this time around?
Yeah, I mean, from a design standpoint, the real big bottlenecks for me was that you don't get any design specifics from KDP, at least none that I could derive or figure out. So,
well, we would get emails.
Yeah, we'd get emails saying this and that and the other thing, and they would give me some dimensions, but like I couldn't find an actual number for what my gutter was, what my slug was, what my bleed was. Like none of those print manufacturing terms were at all available. and so I couldn't get accurate measurements of, say, where the spine began, or the spine thickness, or the total length of the cover. And so the interior design, we didn't really have too many problems. We had one issue where there was some watermarked PDFs, which it hadn't caught the first 4 iterations.
Some background on that, folks. If you are a fan of mine, which of course you are, you have undoubtedly bought my books. And at the back of them, at least the print ones, I've done some different stuff with the Kindle book, which I'll change later, but whatever. There's advertisements for all my other work, because why not? And 2 of them, 2 ebooks, the Bakun Incorporated Reader and Wotan. Well, basically, since I have no skills when it comes to cover creation and stuff like that, I basically went into some random meme generator that I found online and put up a picture, then put up the title and my name on it. And unfortunately, those 2 had the watermarks of memegenerator.com or something. And I was just, and these are all free ebooks. You could download them online, of course. Check out my website for details. But at the point, it was fuck it, it's good. No one will pay attention to that watermark, which for the most part has been true. I did have a reviewer point that out for Wotan, where she was like, I received this poetry ebook for, an honest review. I have to say, I don't know why he made the cover a meme, but whatever.
Why not? I found it clever. That from my perspective on this too, we should have the fucking watermark there. The watermark should be there because it was made at that place. But I don't see that. That's
a good point. Yeah. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, well, credit to where credit's due and all that stuff.
Thank you, memegenerator.com.
Exactly. And so that's why I'm kind of surprised that it did that, because maybe it should be credited somewhere else on the copyright page, in the same place where you credit my cover design. And how do you pronounce the artist that has done the artwork for your books?
Andrew Van.
Van, okay.
Well, there's more to his last name than that, but God, I'm so fucking sorry, Andrew, if you're listening, but I can't pronounce it. I'm not going to wreck it right now.
Oh, okay, so it is a difficult to pronounce name. It's Van Wemke or something like that, isn't it?
Something like that. I would like to have Andrew on this year, so...
Perfect.
We will sell this one way or another.
Good. Anyway, we're going to find out how to pronounce this man's name. Just download the next one.
Yeah, keep buying my shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in regards to watermark, they did pick that up with the first 2 books, Anomaki and Grey Wolf, which I think was more so because they were published through CreateSpace, and then imported over. I guess Jeff Bezos isn't such a dick that he's gonna tell you to make all these changes before they pour it over. But then Lycan Strikes, which we published through KDP, did pick it up, but they picked it up this time around. It's God, what the fuck?
I mean, maybe it's just updated specifications, or the AI that's going through your PDF, it was finally programmed to catch that kind of stuff. But I think what that is designed to prevent is from people just making a book out of memes, So, it makes sense to have that in the AI.
Dude,
but
I'm willing to bet right now, if we were to look up Amazon meme book or something, we could probably find something. How convenient. You were looking up microphones for this on Amazon. Now let's see what we got.
Diary of a Roblox Noob Bee Swarm Simulator. That is my sponsored first result. You got a meme Bible.
The Holy Meme Bible.
Hilarious memes by Memer.
There you go. Yeah, it's
okay, let's pull up the author page for Memer. Hilarious memes.
Which has a rate. Okay, out of the 3 books, he has hilarious memes, which just has a generic cat. No, nothing I can really think of related to it. Then they have the other one just called memes, and it has like the dog squinting and grinning. I forget what the meme's called there. And then the other one, also called hilarious memes, has a rage comic on it of like the character smiling with like a tear going down his eye.
Look at the...
Wait. Okay, that is bullshit. Customers also bought them by... What's the other one?
Richard Face, Dick Face.
Yeah, his book, The Book of Fucking Hilarious Internet Memes. Okay, how is it that I can have all these books published already, but I can't get a customers also...
It's got 89 reviews.
Nice.
On The Book of Fucking Hilarious Internet Memes by Dick Face.
Okay, this is funny, but there's a small part inside me that's raging right now, like, are you fucking kidding me? But anyway, yeah, we were right, people are making literal books about memes. I don't know, there's gotta be, like, some text in there somewhere, like descriptions or stories or something. It can't literally just be memes they've copied and pasted from Google. Or could it? I don't know.
We're gonna find out. I'm gonna look for the preview.
Oh, look inside. There you go.
Where did you? Okay, there we
go. Okay.
No, it is literally
yes,
just
it is.
memes.
Right now we are looking at the bullfrog meme, where it's just a picture of the bullfrog from a green thing. See, could be somewhere in 15 minutes. Start to masturbate. The
interesting thing to note, though, here is that there's a header and footer on each page. The header is copyrighted material, and the footer is also copyrighted material.
Wait, did he copyright these memes somehow? Like his specific take on them?
No, I think that's at the top of each left page is his book title, and at the top of each right page is the original contributor.
Okay,
Foul Bachelor Frog.
Okay, because God forbid that you dare share the meme that says big date tonight, wash dick and sink. You are breaking copyright. Do you know how long it took me to think up of that meme? Eat while shitting, circle of life. Fart so loud you wake yourself up, achievement unlocked. Oh, fuck you. I've seen that.
I feel bad for laughing at these as much as I am.
I've seen that somewhere else. He stole that shit.
No, I think that's what he's doing. He's just taking all of the other memes and putting them in one book. So you can just browse through the book and look at the memes.
Oh, and I guess we should say rest in peace, Grumpy Cat.
Yeah.
Grumpy Cat passed away.
What was its name? Tartar sauce?
Yeah,
and
tartar
is
sauce.
Misspelled?
Have you ever seen a Grumpy Cat Christmas?
No.
I saw it, actually, like the year it came out. It was a Lifetime movie, because Lifetime is in the memes now. And yeah, it stars Grumpy Cat, I guess, having to save Christmas.
Man, so another brief sidebar here on Lifetime movies. I don't know how much you've been exposed to this, or like Hallmark Channel stuff. My mom eats this stuff up. She absolutely loves it. And so my brothers and I, have a long history of kind of making fun of my mom for watching these Lifetime movies and especially like the Christmas time Hallmark movies. But the last couple of years we've really been paying attention. And from a writing standpoint and acting and stuff, if you think about how small these budgets must be and how quickly these productions must be made in order to get all of these actors and extras in one spot and to make it work from a production standpoint, they're actually really done well. The lighting is always really good. The camera work is spot on. The acting is cheesy, but it's usually the dialogue that's cheesy. It's delivered well.
Well, it's also a lot of them are based on somewhat recent events, right?
Yeah, yep.
Like mostly, like let me think. Isn't it like drama, love, and true crime?
Yep.
Okay, I'm trying to think about what I remember from Lifetime. Like, I remember just marathoning Unsolved Mysteries in the past.
Right, well, What I'm talking about specifically, I guess, is more the Hallmark Channel stuff. But it's like so like there'll be it's just generalized storycraft. Like
it's like family entertainment.
Yeah, 3-act plot structure.
So it's supposed to be like heartwarming in some way.
Exactly, but everything is just. The plots aren't as telegraphed as they used to be. It used to be like you'd watch one of these Hallmark movies and it's like, okay, this guy's going to end up being like the evil stepdad, and it turns out that he has, he's made his daughter grow up to believe that Christmas is stupid or something like. And
then they find the magic of Christmas together.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and they crank these fucking things out, dude. There's like 40 new ones every season, and they're not garbage. Like, they're good enough to sit down and actually watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they fit the season.
Yep.
I mean,
and it's really.
I mean, shit.
I like it.
One of my favorite bands, Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
There you go.
Yeah, they're always sponsored by Hallmark.
Mm-hmm. And another thing on that vein is soap operas. And so soap operas from a production standpoint are fucking amazing, dude. So like think about this. Like my mom watches, I think General Hospital is one of the ones that she's watched it since I was a child and before.
Same with my mom. She's not into soap operas as much anymore, as far as I know. Her big thing, though, even growing up, was one called Knots Landing.
Yep, I remember hearing about this one. Yep. My reason for bringing it up is that just if you think about this, like you're putting out 2-3 books a year. Like imagine if those were scripts for 1-hour episodes of General Hospital.
Funny you should say that, because that's kind of my current production is 2-3 books a year.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I could totally relate to the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, it's incredible that this stuff is getting made and turned around, and actors are getting paid, and scripts are getting written, and script writers are getting work. And this is all, like, they're probably filming this all in, like, July, August, and then turning it around and getting it all edited and all of the work done on it in time to start airing in November, right?
Well, yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure by now, they have a process set up.
They do.
Like, they go through the motions pretty well, barring, like, something totally catastrophic.
Yeah.
Like, during the Grumpy Cat movie, Grumpy Cat, like, spontaneously explodes or something. Which did not happen. Actually, how did Grumpy Cat die? I think old age or something.
Yeah, I think it had an illness and didn't make it.
Yeah, it would be something dramatic, like it just couldn't handle it and committed suicide or something.
Oh, suicide's not a joke to laugh at, but that was good.
It's not.
That was good.
Grumpy Cat just could not take the fame anymore. She hated constantly having to hang out with Lil Bub. It's just like, you know what? Fuck it. Alright, well, I guess, okay, back to the book. So, yeah,
Sure.
I switched over to Lulu, and, honestly, thinking back, I probably should have gone with Lulu to begin with. Well, and by to begin with, I mean after Amazon shut down CreateSpace and made everything go to KDP.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I asked that actually before I published Grey Wolf, the Grey Wolf Chicago, the very first book in the GODAN series. I just straight up made a Facebook post asking all my writer friends, hey, should I stick with KDP? Should I go to Lulu? Or should I go somewhere else? And one of them, absurdist indie writer and podcaster named John Konrad, shout out to John, just straight up said, why are you even bothering? Amazon rules the book market now. You might as well just stick with them. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. And also, John Konrad, if you folks don't know, check out his work. I very much enjoy it. He's also like a real OG self-publisher. Like, he has a background in like punk rock and zine making. And, like, he was there when, like, the very start of the internet, when, like, again, folks, I'm currently, I guess, going through allergies right now since it's that time of the year. Which, by the way, it's a beautiful, humid, rainy day here in Michigan, which means it's spring.
Yep.
So anyway, John Konrad is OG self-publisher. He was there from like the beginning of the internet, like way before Lulu was even like a thought in someone's mind. Like, it's services that are so primitive and even so obscure that I literally can't think of one off the top of my head that he's like mentioned on like previous episodes of his own podcast, the Concast. Good pun. But so yeah, my decision is actually, I thought it over last weekend when I was at StokerCon, which is a convention for horror writers, horror fans, and the like, brought about by the Horror Writers Association of America. You know, I was thinking it over, especially because if you folks can't tell, I am the writer. I'm the guy who writes the stuff, and I whore it out and everything. The guy next to me, Zach Elmblad, he is my editor. He does the formatting, he does like the cover design. If he notices something fucked up, he'll point out like, hey, I noticed that you have this word misspelled, so I just spelled it like this. I'm like, okay, cool. But sometimes even you need help.
It's true.
Yeah,
You gotta edit the editor sometimes.
yeah, because when I posted a finished cover, what we thought was like the finished cover of Queen of the Third Coast.
Turns out it was the first draft of like 10.
Yeah, I was so happy about it. I was so proud. I'm like, fuck yeah, I posted it. And another writer friend of mine from England, writer and folk musician, Lewis Rivers, pointed out thread. I'm like, I thought like he misspelled. I'm like, oh, it's the third book in the GODAN series. Yeah. But then when I look closer at it, instead of third, THIRD, you spelled thrid. THRID.
Sure did.
I'm like, holy shit. Oh, god damn it. Zach.
Yep. Well, we fixed it.
Yeah, we
fixed
fixed
it.
it.
Fixed.
Oh, god.
What bummed me out is that one of his replies to that comment was editor's eye. You know, it had something to that effect. Like, well, it's all good. I have an editor's eye. It's easy to spot that. I'm like, well, fuck, dude, so do I. The problem is,
he's an editor too. He runs his own website called Talking Soup, which is a really good site for nonfiction into like the life of various working people around the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very legit site. Everyone, check it out. But yeah, it's also a good lesson to show you that, editors can fuck up too. They are indeed human. Unlike KDP and Jeff Bezos, which are just heartless machines that just don't fucking get it. But yeah, okay, I'm making it out to be really dramatic, but I totally understand and it's cool. I'm just glad someone pointed it out.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta be happy, even though it sucks to have your errors publicly available. It's also like, oh man, can you imagine how like upset you would be with yourself if we had let that thing go all the way to print?
Well, yeah. Plus, more so, it's the actual title of the book. It's not
exactly.
It's not just like a little minuscule thing with like inside the text or even the back description. It's the actual title. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, I have a great Insane Clown Posse story about that actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, apparently on their first album called Carnival of Carnage, they originally had Esham, who's one of the great underground rappers of Detroit, like do the intro to it, and Violent J was listening to it, and apparently Esham, instead of saying like the intro went good all around, but at the end, instead of saying Carnival of Carnage, he said Carnival of Carnix. So then he talked to Esham about it, and then Esham got mad about it, like, what, you don't like it? He's like, no, it's not that I don't like it, it's just that you didn't say it right. Like, what the fuck's a Carnic? And Esham's like, you know what, fuck it, just keep it as is, and he hung up.
Oh, man.
And keep in mind, this was after they paid Isham to do this.
Right. Well, that's also interesting because they went on to work with Isham later.
Oh, God, that is such a saga. They're always cool. They're always, like, on, off, cool, and beefing. Like, personally, I would never give Isham the time of day because he's just backstabbed him so many fucking times.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever, that's the way they want to do it. Just a good example of a fair weather friend, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, so Violent J ended up redoing it all himself because, as he said, he didn't want to spend his entire career explaining what the fuck a Karnak is. So now, I didn't want to spend my entire literary career being like, Garret, Queen of the Thrid Coast, what's a thrid?
Man, that would have sucked too.
Okay, well,
I would have definitely felt at fault for that too.
Oh,
Because
God.
I'm the one that typed it. It's
know.
my thread.
I know. I almost thought about, like, because we use a font that I found online for the books. I literally looked up, like, punk rock fonts, since GODAN is a gutter punk, as well as a superhero. So, like, I was always thinking, like, could I just get away with it? Just say it's third, but the font makes it look like thread. Then I was like, no, do not think that way.
Needs to be changed.
No shortcuts.
Must be
just
fixed.
Henry Rollins, Joe Rogan, this shit, and take it to the limits.
Yep, get it done right.
So anyway, so I was thinking it over this week at StokerCon, like in between like panels and meeting a lot of writers I like, and I was like, you know what? Fuck KDP. I am sick of this bullshit, and more so, I am sick of putting Dear Zachary Elmblad through this shit. Because really, man, you've been like a saint through this. And I'm not saying this like kiss your ass on my podcast either. Like, especially in regards to like not wanting to like charge extra, which I have offered before.
It's true.
So yeah, I just wanted to switch to Lulu, especially since, as I learned when you published Hub Jamboree, available through Elmblad Media Group, check it, is that, yeah, it's on Amazon, it's on Barnes & Noble and other places.
Mm-hmm.
KDP does not offer that. Like, if you publish it through Amazon, it can only be on Amazon. So it's like, wait a minute, why am I with this service that's a pain in the ass to work with? It's run by probably the most evil person in the history of capitalism, Jeff Bezos, and I literally can't publish them anywhere else online. So it's like, fuck this, I'm going to Lulu.
Yeah, dude.
Especially because, if you allow me to humble brag right now, as successful as I've been, in my indie lit career, switching over to Lulu is not going to severely affect me, I think. Like, I have not had the overwhelming Stephen King level success I've been hoping for through Amazon. So it's like,
Bring me my riches, god damn it.
Yeah. I'm not up there partying with J.K. Rowling yet. But yeah, switching over from Amazon, from KDP to Lulu, it's not going to like severely affect me financial or even fame-wise, I guess. If anything, it could probably increase it since, it's being books will be distributed in other places. And there's the fact that people want it, they could buy it through Lulu as opposed to Amazon. Because, there are some people are like that, which is completely understandable.
Hell yeah, it is. Man, so I had some lady the other day, she wanted to buy my, some of my note cards. So, since this is not a visual medium, I have these little, 3.5 by 5 1/4 note cards that I sell in my gallery during times where I'm open to the public. And, they're cheap. They're like $2 each, 3 for $5. And I've got them in this little plastic sleeve, mainly just to keep the dust off them and stuff. I sit on the inventory for like a year and a half before it turns around, so I've got them on a little rack, and this lady's going through them, and she's like, "Oh, I really want to buy your cards, but I can't." And I was like, "Well, you don't have to. It doesn't bother me. Like,
Thanks.
can't afford it, no big deal. Don't want it, not a problem either. Like, I'm just here to exist for your pleasure at this point, right?" And so she's like, "Well, it's not because I don't like them. It's because they have plastic on them, and I gave up plastic for Lent." And so inside my,
Catholics.
my eyes roll back into my head a little bit. But also, it's like, well, that's good. You gave up something unconventional instead of just something that you didn't like, which is what normal Catholics do. It's I'm not going to eat any fish this Lent. It's like, do you ever eat fish?
Well, that's the thing. Like, she's not giving it up forever or for like a really extended period of time. It's just.
But she's exploring the idea of
guess.
living a life without extra waste. It's okay.
I guess so. But more so like when we had to Lent shit, which really wasn't that much. It was more like, oh, don't eat meat on Friday. So we're gonna eat macaroni instead.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well,
how much you want to bet that once Lent is over, that woman is just gonna start ripping plastic up and just throwing it in her dumpster?
Right.
Just like
she's gonna start burning it.
It's like finally I can start destroying this ecosystem again.
Well, she ended up buying the cards, and she just had me take the plastic off.
Oh, there you go.
And of course, she made me promise that I was going to reuse the plastic, but I'm not going to fucking reuse that plastic. Like, it's got people's fingerprints all over it and stuff, and once you put, there's adhesive on the back of it that's compromised once you open it up.
Well, maybe she meant reuse, put it in the recycle bin, so...
Well, I'll take that. Sure. Well, it will get recycled. I certainly won't throw it away.
Yeah, that's what I think she meant. Not like, you must wrap another one of your products in this.
See, that's the way I took it when she said it to me, and I was just like, yeah, sure, I'm going to do that.
Okay. So, yeah, I should ask, okay, I'm on Lulu now. I've known of Lulu beforehand, but how did you get into Lulu?
I got into Lulu because I was looking up methods of publishing back in 2009, I think, is when I had finished the manuscript for Whatever Happens, Happens, and I had a few of my friends read it. I started out by just printing it out on 8.5 by 11 paper and binding it in a binder. So I would bring it to FedEx Kinko's and pay whatever, $15 to have it printed and drilled, and then buy a binder and then print out my own cover and put that in the front of the binder. And so there's maybe 5 copies of Whatever Happens, Happens that exist in that format. One of which, there's this actor, Katie Pierce. You are probably never going to listen to this, but if you are listening to this, send me back my fucking manuscript, Katie. You said you would, and you never did. But...
you could just send them the link to this podcast on Facebook. Right. Say hey, I gave you a shout out. Oh, that's great.
I'll say I will give Katie a shout out. Here's my story about Katie Pierce, and I don't even think that's the name that she uses as an actress.
Let's call her something else. Let's call her Katy Perry.
Katy P.
Katy Perry. That there's no one else in this world named that.
No, I've never heard of anyone named Katy Perry.
Nope.
But she was a good friend of mine in high school. Well, actually, at the very end of high school and at the beginning of our college years, and she is now a moderately successful actress that lives in New York. And during our college years, our bonding was mainly spent her time at Vincent de Paul University in Chicago. Or maybe it's not Vincent de Paul, it's just DePaul, whatever it is.
Yeah, DePaul.
It's just DePaul, yeah. So she was at DePaul University, and I sat in on a couple of her existential philosophy classes. And, good conversations ensued. It was good to be in a, highbrow academic environment when I was a college dropout at the time. And, anyway, she went on to become an actress, and she's pretty good. I've watched her stuff, But I messaged her maybe 2 years ago because she asked to read the first copy of my book after my friend Katie, another Katie, had read it.
So many Katies.
And so the reason that I want the manuscript back is because all of the first Katie's notes to me about the manuscript are on those pages. And so I sent Katie, actress Katie, a message maybe 2 or 3 years ago asking, like, hey, does my manuscript exist? Like, where is it? Like, I know you've lived in Chicago, LA, New York, Kalamazoo, Tennessee, Alabama. Like, you're all over the fucking place all the time. I'm assuming that it's either at your parents' house or in storage or gone, you know. And so she said she had it and that she would mail it to me. I gave her my address and everything, but I haven't heard anything from her.
How long was this?
Oh, years. At least 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years. Definitely before I was in this office, for sure.
Well, I do believe it's time for a change.
Listen, Katie.
No, let me handle this. Katie, darling, sweetie. Yeah. Can you please do my homie Zach Elmblad a solid and take the time to look for that manuscript?
I will pay you for the shipping.
Yeah, you hear that? He will pay for the shipping. And, hell, I'll throw in an offer. You can be on the Garret Schuelke podcast to help promote your career.
All right, this guy.
Very
trying
tempting.
to get the plug in. Let's go to New York and interview Katie. Let's do it.
Dude.
She probably would.
Yeah.
I don't see why she wouldn't.
Dude, we gotta do some kind of road trip together.
Yeah, it'd be
like,
fun.
Actually, I suggested that, like, to Indianapolis, because they got the Kurt Vonnegut Museum there.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Even though I think they, like, had changed locations recently, but, yeah, I still think it's up. That's something we should totally do sometime.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Then, may like, do a live podcast on that or something.
Sure.
Fuck, maybe we get KC involved while we're at it.
Yeah, KC. I want to talk about somebody I haven't seen much of lately. KC
Really?
has himself a girlfriend.
Okay, before we get to that, okay, first of all, Katie, please send the manuscript for the love of Christ, do it.
Or
anyway,
Katie Yintama, or however, or whatever her Facebook name
we'll
is.
get off Lulu here, but quickly, how has your experience with Lulu been?
Fantastic. I've never had a problem with him.
No problem with it, with, like, in regards to formatting?
Not that I remember, no. I mean, I could have, like, repressed it, but, no. I don't recall having ever had a problem that wasn't my own fault, anyway. Because I have had issues where the hardcover release of Borderline Vagabond had text alignment issues. Definitely my fault, but there was no, like, it didn't get caught. So I printed out a couple copies of the books, actually sold one, and when I opened it up to, like, write in it and sign it, I noticed that, like, all the chapter headings were, like, 2 or 3 lines low, which, like, had forced all of the text over time to, like, become unaligned. And so I had to redo that. But I definitely wouldn't blame Lulu for that. That is definitely my fault.
The only thing I heard about was a while back was, like, Lulu has a system where, like, you have to make so much money before they give it to you.
Yeah, that's true. I still haven't. I've never received a check from Lulu. I thought I thought I was going to from when yours put me over 25, but I still haven't.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
God damn, that was one of my prouder moments that I put you over.
I know. I was happy about it. I was thrilled, but I still haven't had.
How much money do you need?
I don't know. You're gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
We're gonna look this up. Let's see, my projects. We're gonna go in here.
Wait. How the fuck are you staying logged in, but I have to, like, do 2 different logins at the same time in order to keep going?
Well, because I've been a customer for, like, 10 years, probably. I don't know. Or maybe I have it set to do so.
Yeah, I should look at that. That's some bullshit.
Alright, sales and revenue. We'll switch to payment information. See, 2038. I bet you the minimum is 25. And, okay, see here? Minimum of $20. It's supposed to send me a check, but it has not yet.
Yeah, you literally got $20.38 there.
Yeah.
You are over, technically.
Yeah, but it says estimated amount prior to withholding, so they might have
Oh,
to charge
god
me
damn it.
taxes.
Really? They're counting taxes in this thing?
Apparently.
Honestly, it's one of those things where, like, if I had to, I would actually pay for my own book in order to put it over. And it's like, shit, I'm just getting a copy anyway that I could sell.
Yours was the last one through distribution streams. I paid that for you at the end of 2017.
Nice.
Out as a royalty. And yeah, that is what put me over. But for whatever reason, I still have not been issued a check.
Actually, it looks like you've had sales since then.
These are all when I buy it. So you can see there's zero
gotcha.
revenue.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And it's your 10 copies of Up Jamboree and then my 2 copies of each of my books that I purchased at the same time. But here you can see in the channel that it was a printed copy sold through Amazon on August 31st, 2017 that got our total revenue
Actually,
for Up Jamboree.
I think that may have been my dad that bought that. Very supportive.
Well, I know some of these sales are my family members too.
Or wait, 10? 10 copies?
That was the one that I ordered like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah,
I was about to say, I've ordered 10 in the past too, so maybe it's me.
Yep.
Oh boy. Anyway, okay, Lulu, we love you.
Yes.
I love this platform, but
write me a check.
yeah, you should change that system. It fucking sucks. Okay, let's get on to other topics. What's going on with King Charles the Rapper?
He's just working. Just took the classes for his real estate.
Wait, he's a real estate agent?
I don't think not yet, but he has taken the class and scored high enough on his practice exam to be confident that he can pass the exam. So I don't think he is yet a real estate agent, but that is one of his goals, yes. As far as I understand. Could have changed. I haven't seen much of him in the last month or so.
Because usually whenever I'm here, he's either here from the get-go, or he comes in, it's like, hey, you're on the podcast now, Casey. He's like, hi.
Well, yeah, I mean, he is definitely, he's working more, he's got more hours, more jobs, and he's got a girlfriend, and we all know how much time that tends to take from your artistic pursuits.
Yeah. Dude, I've gone on, I've had about two Tinder dates this year so far.
Alright.
And, well, the first one we met twice, and fortunately she, I guess, got too busy with her job and hasn't contacted me back since, so sad face. But dude, the other one earlier this month, about 2 weeks ago, holy shit. Okay, so basically I'm talking to this girl for I think nearly a month, going back and forth. We actually do legit have a lot of stuff in common, we're both former journalists when we were in college. We have, we love our parents, but we have this issue with them that we wish would fucking change. And a lot of things, actually. It's really surprised me. It kind of did, though I do admit it kind of did take me aback a little bit whenever I would tell her stuff about my writing, my traveling, all these ambitions I have. She's like, that's great. I really like a person that has ambition, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, thanks. It's really flattering. So anyway, we meet up for dinner at a Derby station in East Grand Rapids, which you may remember was I think the second meeting you and I ever had.
Yeah.
I kind of bought you there to wine and dine you.
It's true. You did.
Yeah, so we went there, and yeah, the date went really well, actually. The only thing that kind of fucked up there was that we were talking about pop music and boy bands. And basically my thing is that a lot of the pop music you hear today, especially some people say Ed Sheeran, who I actually do like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, technically they do suck. But you did not live through the boy bands of the mid to late 90s like we did.
Yeah, that music was truly garbage. It really
yeah, literally, if you were to compare Ed Sheeran to NSYNC, Ed Sheeran is fucking Bob Dylan in comparison to them.
True.
But during that conversation, I brought up New Kids on the Block, but it's actually a song by the LFO that I was referencing, New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick.
Yeah.
Like, I actually thought that was New Kids on the Block, and she corrected me on it. And I'm like, I almost had an existential breakdown. I'm like, holy shit, I've been making fun of those fucking lyrics for years now, and I didn't know it was from LFO.
Yep.
Which...
I like girls that wear Abercrombie
and Fish. It's so bad, folks. So anyway.
And you're all going to have that song stuck. Anyone who was born before 1990 is going to have that song stuck in their head now for the rest of the week.
I mean, even compared to, like, other contemporary stuff of the day, you know, like, Bye, 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 or I Want It That Way,
Mm-hmm.
you know, those things are masterpieces compared to this piece of garbage.
And then there's
Billy Shakespeare wrote a whole bunch of sonnets. Billy Shakespeare.
Billy Shakespeare. Well, you know, at the time, I was doing it all for the nookie.
Oh, fuck yeah. New metal. I could go on with that. But anyway, the date, you know, really went well. Then at the end there, because, you know, I asked her, like, hey, how you want to do the evening? She's like, oh, well, well, I could leave it up to you. You know, I'm sure you'll have good ideas. Which indeed I did. I was thinking, like, we would hang out in, like, East Town then. You know, catch a show at Mulligan's and whatever DJ night they had at Denny's. You know, Danny's or whatever it's called. But we had, like, an hour or so before, like, the show at Mulligan started. So I was like, you just want to, like, take a walk around? Because it's a beautiful day in East Grand Rapids. And also, the Kentucky Derby was going on, so people were dressed up for that shit.
Sure. Derby day.
I was like, you want to take a walk around? Or a quick note, for, like, half a year now, I've been, like, on classical music run there.
Okay.
Like, I've really been getting into it. And I've been even, like, attending concerts.
Cool.
Yeah, and there was a classical show going on at, like, East Grand Rapids High School, like, right across the street from the Derby station. I show her the event page, then she's like, well, no, I was thinking about it, and there's something I gotta tell you.
Oh, no.
You just want to take a guess what it is.
She's actually a lesbian.
Nope.
She has a boyfriend.
Close.
She has a curfew. No, okay.
No, she's actually in her 30s.
Okay.
Like, no, and she didn't mention any of this beforehand, but basically, she's not in a relationship, because I asked her that, because I did ask her that after. She's like, well, you see, there's actually a guy that I'm still in love with.
Oh, Jesus
and I wanted to basically go on this date to see if, like, I still loved him, and yeah, I still do. I'm like, wait, so are you in a relationship with this guy? Like, are you guys taking a break or something? She's like, no, you know, he doesn't even know that I love him still, but yeah, I just wanted to go on a date. You know, it's my first Tinder date.
And it was at this point where, like, in your mind, it's just like alarm bells begin to go off. You're like, warning.
Actually, no. I was just flabbergasted. I was like, wait, what? Like, I was just really confused and awkward. I'm like, the whole time her justification, I was like, okay. Okay. And then she's like, you know, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, thanks for being honest.
Right.
You know, she got up and, like, we hugged. Then she walked off. And I'm kind of standing there. First thing that comes to my mind, well, I'm really glad she paid for her meal.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say about modern dating. Like, I have not had a long-term relationship since 2014, and I have only dated to the point where you started to try to define the relationship, and then things ended immediately.
Yeah, but it was really awkward. I would say I took something like this better at 31 than I did at 21.
Sure.
But afterwards, instead of Ubering back, I just walked home because, why not? Gotta think about it. And I instead of like going to East Town and seeing Black Cat Bone, the band I wanted to bring us to, a local country folk blues band, which are really awesome. Check them out. I just went home, got drunk, and watched Marathon Smallville, while I thought about like, great, you talked to this girl for like a month, you really connected, but you're not as good as this guy she's lusting over.
Yep.
And then on top of that, later that night, since I forget what it is. I think it's like a French dip. It's like one of those roast beef sandwiches you can dip into stuff and then
French
eat it.
dip, dog.
Yeah, it's good, but then it made me shit my pants later that night. So I'm like, perfect way to end this shitty night.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so far I've had 2 Tinder dates. The first person went really good, but then she got busy, I guess, and haven't heard from her since. Second one was absolutely disastrous. Went good up until the end.
Right.
Then it got awkward and disastrous. And I think I'm gonna hold off a little bit now because not because I don't want to date anymore, but because I got a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah.
Like I'm attending Printers Row Fest at the beginning of June. So, hey everyone, if you want to come see me in Chicago at the Bizarro Fiction Table, hang out with those folks. You can check out my books, check out their books. You can talk to me about shitty Tinder dates. You can talk about stuff that gives you diarrhea after you drink, after you get sad drunk later on. So yeah, check me out there.
I'll talk to anybody about diarrhea anytime, any day.
Oh fuck yeah! I'd rather do that than talk about books. At least it's something different.
Dating.
At least it's something different than having to shill my books. Like, well, yeah, your books are interesting, but I really want to talk to you about bowel movements. Like, oh, thank God, I can talk to you like
something I know about.
Yeah, I can actually talk to you like a real human being now. I don't have to shill my stuff for you.
Yeah, that gets kind of weird, dude. I don't know. I've had to do that many a times.
I'm actually joking. I love doing the salesman stuff, actually. Because it's still pretty much new to me. Like, I'm sure like 20-some years from now, when I'm literally in the same position I am, then I'm going to be like, hey, buy my books. Here's all 20 volumes of GODAN, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you don't want to buy it? Okay, have a good day. There's a more successful author over there that you might like. Anyway, so besides that, also I got my fabled London trip at the end of June, beginning of July. So yeah, I probably shouldn't go around trying to get into a deep relationship right now when I got so much traveling going on.
It's true.
Even though I do put that in my bio that my big passions are writing and traveling, and yeah, I'm looking. That's one of the things I would like to have someone that I can travel with.
Yeah, man.
That'd be great. I mean, I do have fun going alone, but yeah, shit gets lonesome sometimes.
Sure does, man. Having a teammate is an awesome thing. It's great.
Yeah,
it's also very difficult to maintain.
Well, I guess it depends. I guess it's all different with different people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're looking out for me here, but please don't scare me with stuff like that. yeah, it's fun, but it's difficult. You might as well just be alone.
Well, you see, that's the conclusion that I've arrived at. You can debate how healthy that is.
Oh boy, I don't know. I'm still giving dating a chance. No, I'm not at that point yet where it's like,
Man, the last couple of times that I've tried, it just went so poorly, dude.
Like, what happened?
Well, the last girl that I was involved with, I worked with her, which is obviously not a good idea to begin with.
Yeah, that's one thing I've actually had my mom suggest that to me when I was telling her about the date that I just told you about. Mm-hmm. Then I let out the sad quote like, "Oh, I guess I'm just not as good as this other guy." She's like, "Oh, don't think that way, Gary." Then it was like, "Well, have you tried asking out women at your job?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't ask that. Holy shit, no." Because first of all, a lot of them are awful people. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And two, even if there are some good people, good women there. But, yeah, can you imagine how fucking awkward that is if you break up or whatever? Or even if you just have like a one-night hookup and you have to see him the next week there.
That's kind of what we ran into, because what happened is, like, I became her boss. Like, we had known each other, kind of, for, like, a year, and then I became her department's boss, and so she was my assistant. And then, like, anybody who knows me is going to be able to figure out who this is immediately, but, like, so, we did the whole thing, at one point, she was like, she said, I have a crush on you. And I was like, well, I definitely feel the same way. Like, no, don't worry about that. So,
wait, what did you have a crush on her, or like did she tell you this and you're like, fuck yeah?
Kind of halfway between those two things.
Okay,
like, I definitely liked the girl, but I was scared because I was like, I'm a modern man. I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be interpreted as sexually harassing someone. So it put me in a pretty dangerous position, because it's I like her, but I can't bridge the gap because I'm her boss. So
at least you're thinking it over.
Yeah.
You're not doing like some MRA incel supreme gentleman bullshit.
Oh no, I tried not to.
Oh, good. I'm glad you don't, because I wouldn't be working with you for her.
So anyway, she expresses that she's having issues with her current boyfriend. Okay, we get to talking about it. She breaks up with him. A month or so later, we're still talking. Okay, do you want to make this a thing? Like, what is, like, I would go to her place, like, maybe 2 or 3 nights a week, do a bunch of bong rips, watch fucking Netflix, the whole make out, the whole thing, right? It never really got any more serious than that.
Actual Netflix and chill.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And bong rips. There was a lot of bong rips taken.
That's part of it.
Right. Yeah, I guess Netflix and chill involves bong rips, sort of now.
It's basically you watching Netflix and chilling in some way.
Yeah.
Like, they're not specific.
Non-specific chilling. But we were getting hot and heavy. Our Snapchat streak was like 130 days or something like that. And like, all of the metrics that people use these days to determine whether or not a relationship is becoming successful or viable, right? Mm. So, as far as I was concerned, I'm like, okay, this girl is very quickly going to be my official, like, this is my girlfriend. Like, we're going to go places together, and I'm going to introduce her as my girlfriend. My friends are going to know her name. Like, this is where we're going. And then she just stopped talking to me. And during this period of time, it was like a week after her birthday or something, and like I had gone over there, and I had flowers sent to her place, and did all this elaborate shit, and like, then she just like didn't talk to me that entire night, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude, something's going on. Like, I don't know what it is, but something's going on. And so she let our Snapchat streak break, and then like at work she would like come in an hour late and avoid me and like not talk to me, and finally I was just like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, well, I got back together with my boyfriend and he has prohibited me, like I had to delete your number out of my phone, I'm not allowed to talk to you on Facebook or Snapchat anymore. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, okay, so we have this 8-month courtship where you're basically doing this as a rebound, and then when we're about to make it a serious relationship, then you decide that you're going to just get back together with your boyfriend? Like, how's that fair to boyfriend? How's that fair to yourself? It's certainly not fair to me, but whatever, fuck it. And so then, like a week later, because of some fucking amount of bullshit, she ended up becoming my boss. And so then she decided to take all of this out, all of this aggression out on me, but I was able to counter because she
Wait. So, like, what was she doing?
She was trying to force me to work certain times where she wasn't going to be there. She was, like, coming down on me for paperwork that she knew that I wasn't doing properly because she had been my assistant. So, like, everything that was like, okay, between you and I, like, we'll just do it this way, and fuck how corporate says. Like, she was
Okay.
then turning around and using all that to, like, try to punish me, basically. And so...
For what?
I don't...
For loving her?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that is basically what it was. Yeah, I never got I don't have answers to this.
Okay,
Like,
yeah,
because I quit the job.
Well, yeah.
That's how I solved it. I quit
Okay.
the job and started doing this shit. I was like, fuck this, I have another job.
Okay, yeah, that's more fucked up than the one I just told you. Mine was more like an awkward emotional blow.
Right,
This
but it
one-
also
this
didn't
one-
take place over 8 months either.
Well, yeah, that, but more, well, I'm not thinking about the time. I'm thinking more of the fact that it's someone who then ascended to a position of power and then fucked literally with your livelihood.
Yes.
It
cost me several $100s because she wouldn't let me use my sick time. And,
there you go. Yeah, that's way more fucked up than
she was a
her.
huge vindictive bitch about the whole thing.
Yeah, that is fucking awful.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't know. Since then I've been super turned off on dating. Like my Tinder app lapsed or whatever. Like it gave me the warning that said your shit's gonna be blocked.
That is bullshit. Yeah. No, that is legit bullshit. Because I've gone on there and it's like after like 2 or 3 warnings, like, it's not on there. It's not being blocked or whatever. That's just their way of trying to scare you get back on.
Oh well, whatever. It worked. It worked the opposite for me then, because I was like, oh, well, I'll just delete the app then, fuck it.
No, well, I mean, with me too, like, I haven't been in a steady relationship since 2009, but I have had a lot of hookups, of course, and I've had a lot of friends with benefits situations, or lovers, if you want to get all romantic. And the thing with that is that, and I noticed this with two of them, they stopped talking to me, but then they hooked up with another guy, and then, like, shortly, like a year or so later, got engaged or married to them. I think one thing, with me at least, is that I guess either they wanted to take it further and they didn't tell me, or, like, they didn't think that I wanted to. Mm-hmm. Instead of just saying, like, hey, you want to take this further than this, which I probably would have agreed to, actually.
Yeah, totally.
So the difference with dating this time around with me is that I straight up put that in my bio, is that I'm looking for a serious relationship. As opposed where it's like, where free is like, yeah, I'm looking for something casual, friends with benefits. If we really connect, then take it further. No. I straight up put it in there. I would like a serious relationship. Mm-hmm. Of course, I still do put it in there, like, yeah, I'm still technically up for friends with benefits or that, but I'm more serious this time around. Like, if you're gonna say, like, yeah, I really like you, but I don't want anything serious right now. Can we still fuck though? Yeah, I'm not gonna turn that down.
Hell no, who would?
No, so I'm not gonna be like, no, I want something serious, so I don't want this. Like, I'm not that wishy-washy, but I'm a little bit more focused now, more mature, So yeah, so far this year it's 2 down. Let's see what happens with the eventual 3rd.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of taking a little break due to like all the stuff that I got going on right now. Especially with the London trip, that's been on my mind constantly. I'm hoping to at least get laid once while I'm over there. I acknowledge
that's the goal, right? The international travel bang. That's
but being older, wiser. There are other stuff that I legit want to do, and I acknowledge being older, and I'm not as attractive as I was at 21. So
I'm probably more attractive now than I was at 21. I was a disgusting mess at 21 years old.
I know. I've seen the YouTube videos. Like such a chick magnet. I will say this though, unless I'm missing a video, at least you didn't like do one where like you're driving in your car and it's like right up in your face. You're telling it as it is.
No, I don't think I did any of that.
Yeah, let me tell you what America really is.
No.
And then you end it with MAGA or something.
MAGA.
There's actually I saw a photo of like a Mexican dude in a red shirt that said MAGA. Then underneath it, Mexicans always get across.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I saw that too.
I like
That's
perfection.
Great. That's great.
But-
I probably saw your sharing that.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, when I first spent, like I said, I will brag about this for the rest of my life, because why not? You know, very first time I went to Toronto, spent a week there, you know, first year of college, I got laid 3 times with 3 separate women.
Hell yeah.
No, that is my personal record. But now it's like, I'm mature enough where it's like, no, I'm pretty cool with just at least one.
Right. Well, plus there's a big difference between, like, trying to cultivate a relationship and trying to get laid, too. Like, those are 2 separate things to look for.
And thank God, too, this is finally... Oh, okay, this is not humble brag at all. But yeah, my sex drive has somewhat went down from when I was, like, my early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a good thing, because, yeah, it doesn't rule my life as much as it did.
Right.
I mean, it's still a big part of it, obviously, but... I mean, to quote Doug Stanhope, when, like, to paraphrase him, when, like, the first time he was on the Joe Rogan Experience, this was, like, before they had the studio. They were just, like, on his couch.
On Joe's couch, yeah, with
just
Brian Redband and a laptop.
Just awkwardly sitting there. And I think Doug Stanhope says something like, could you imagine how much you could have accomplished if you didn't spend all your time thinking about blowing loads into people? Yeah, he's right.
He's absolutely right. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a trade-off for sure, man. Like, you know, I recently did a family portrait session with one of my best friends and his wife and his daughter, and his wife is expecting their second daughter.
I'm very curious of how you're going to turn this around into sex. The family portrait.
Well, the difference is what I'm trying to bring up is, like, you know, when we have conversations, like, he's proud of me for starting my business and you know, achieving the goals that I wanted in life, and for traveling as much as I have, and, you know, for hiking the Appalachian Trail, and, well, not the whole thing, but anyway, hiking on the Appalachian Trail, and, like, those type of things. That's, like, the aspects of my identity that he looks up to. But for me, looking at him, he's financially successful. He's got a new truck. He owns his own home. He's a doctor, or a physician's assistant rather, and, you know, his wife loves him. They're in a great relationship. They treat each other with respect. You know, they have this beautiful daughter, and you know, I'm jealous of him for that shit. Like, you know, someone cares whether he goes home at night. Like, you know, for me, I could just leave for days, no one would even notice. You know, like, and like someone's there for him to go home to at night. Like, he has, like, this little child that looks up to him and needs him and stuff. Like, for me, you know, I have clients that need me or prefer me or whatever. Like, I have interactions. I certainly don't feel unloved in my life. You know?
It's just not the same.
It's certainly not the same. Yeah, dude.
Like the image that I get in my head, like, when I do think about something like that, is you ever see the movie Joe Dirt?
No.
Oh my God, you gotta see it. But yeah, David Spade is Joe Dirt. At the beginning, like, after he does his first radio interview, like, he just goes back to, like, this little boiler room that he's living in because he works at a janitor, while they're playing the song Crash by Dave Matthews Band, and he just kind of, like, tucks himself into, like, his little cot and shuts off the lights. So that's kind of what I think of, like, you know, if I do sometimes, like, say, get a little sad seeing other couples, and it's like, why can't I be like that? Then I'll go home and I'll equate myself to that Joe Dirt scene of him tucking himself into that Dave Matthews Band song.
There's a lot of truth there's so much honesty in that, though, dude. Like, a lot of what we do, these artistic pursuits, it just, like, you don't do this collaboratively. Like, you're expressing yourself, like, especially as a writer, it's not like you go out and party and write, you know? It's like you gotta stare at a screen or, like, write shit on a page. Like, sometimes it's really hard to do that in a group setting.
Well, the act of writing itself, yeah, but, yeah, you can do all that, though. I mean, I came back from StokerCon last weekend, and one of the people I met was Christoph Paul and Lisa Cantorell.
Okay.
Actually, you've met Christoph Paul because
I have.
we were on one of his podcasts together called John Podesta's Pizza Party.
I recall.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he was a great dude. They were both great to meet. We got a picture with them. Lisa signed my copy of Cartoons in the Suicide Forest. And I didn't get a chance to bring it up. I was just going to bring it up jokingly, like, yeah, Christoph, I remember the last time we talked, you told me I sounded like a libtard.
No need to be incendiary with the people you admire.
No. But yeah, what I'm pointing out is that they're a couple. They've been married for I think a year or so now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they write together, they edit, they run Clash, a website called Clash and Clash Books. They put out their own stuff, they put out others. Huh. They're the example that I could think of right now. I got a lot of other writer friends who are in similar relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, it totally is possible.
Yeah. But
unfortunately for me too, I have found another artistic person. It's mostly just me just stating hey, this is what I do, this is what I've had published, this is what I want published, blah blah blah. And then they usually say something oh, that's awesome, I like a guy with ambition.
Usually when people ask about me, it's oh yeah, I'm in a band, I run my own business, and I do this, and then I travel, I'm a scuba diver, advanced NAUI certified, been on wrecks, been in a couple places in the world, been climbing all over the world, I've been to 4 continents, climbed several mountains. When I go through my personal bio, usually people are just oh, you just don't, for me, from my personal experience, at least from in a dating context, I very rarely have people be legitimately impressed with what I do. I am very impressed with what I've done in my life. I like myself a whole lot. I like what I've done, and I think it's great. But a lot of times, mainly people don't give a fuck. They believe that musicians and authors, at least from my perspective, are emotionally unconnected with anything other than their work, which for me is certainly true.
I haven't encountered that yet, but I have actually thought of that. That has been a turnoff. My writing and even traveling. Even though I have stayed with the last one, yeah, I would definitely change my habits to accommodate a relationship.
Sure, fuck yeah, you would. But then when you say something like that, it makes you seem like you're just over eager for that relationship to start. Oh god, up.
Yeah, that's another thing too. But then again, it's
pardon me.
Oh, that is some good vape, huh?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. I was say I got the other smart water there for you if you want it.
We're good. Just good. a little harsh vape there.
Good popcorn.
Dry hit.
But yeah, I have thought about that. But then again, it's where you draw the line, though. I guess of being honest or being overeager, because there's so many different standards.
Exactly.
Plus, of course, it's with honesty. It's one way or another, they're gonna find out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I usually try to be as honest as I can right up front.
Yeah. So it's again, how honest are you gonna be?
Plus, it renders, if I have to feel like I need to manipulate somebody into liking me, I just want to fucking wash my hands of the whole thing. If I have to convince you that I'm as cool as I think I am, then I don't even want to be in the same room as you.
Yeah, Chris Rock actually had a good bit about that back in the day. I think it was on his Bigger and Blacker special. He says something about how on your first date. Oh God, I almost went to a Chris Rock impression. I shouldn't do that. He says something you aren't me each other. You're me, your representatives.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Which I guess so, but I really don't want it to be that way. And if it is, it's a pretty shitty representative. It's the representative that doesn't know the difference between New Kids on the Block and LFO. I would fire that fucking representative. I'm like,
fired,
wow,
fucker.
you are not helping at all. Matter of fact, you are very detrimental to my romantic and sexual life here. About to ask, you want our smart water? Because I was going to take.
Go for it, man. You're all good. I got my little tea situation here. So.
Oh, good. Because like I said, I'm still. It's not bad right now because I took my allergy medication, Loratadine, or just stuff you can buy.
Yeah.
But it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, while you're grabbing that water, I can go on a little bit of a rant about different types of powdered beverage drinks.
Oh, fuck
because.
Yeah.
So,
Let's hear it.
Since I'm in this office, this is a 300 square foot office, I spend an inordinate amount of time in here. So, I don't want to sit in here and just become fatter and fatter and fatter as time goes by. So, I have decided that instead of getting soft drinks out of the vending machine downstairs, like I would buy a large assortment of powdered beverages. And so the thing that I wanted to bring up here is that I have this giant container of sweet lemon-flavored Nestea iced tea mix that I bought at Walmart on clearance for like $1.47. And like usually I have another variety of iced tea here, which is the Lipton unsweetened iced tea powdered drink mix. And that is my preference, but Walmart didn't have it when I was there, so I ended up buying this clearance lemon-flavored sweet tea. And I actually really kind of like it. It tastes like lemon pledge sprayed into like a watered-down gas station tea. I don't know. It's kind of good. But, yeah, that's my discussion about beverage powders. I also have powdered coffee. And what else? I've got some various artificially flavored, low-calorie powdered beverage mixes. I've got strawberry watermelon fruit punch grape, and yeah, I don't know. I'm a really big fan of powdered drink mixes these days because I don't want to drink a bunch of sugary drinks, and just drinking water sometimes it's not gratifying, I guess. Yeah. Or like if the water tastes weird.
How about like you ever tried LaCroix?
Yeah, dude, definitely that. Or like San Pellegrino, I like that a lot too. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
But like I don't want to drink Pepsi all the time because that's
just one
bad.
Pepsi. Can I get a Pepsi? Suicidal tendencies.
Yeah, dude, definitely. Well, see, what's funny for me is that I didn't realize that was a Suicidal Tendencies song until like my 20s. So, like, there's a Limp Bizkit song that, like, calls back to those lyrics. Like, I think it was, he's like, all I wanted was a Pepsi, just one Pepsi, far from suicidal, still I get them tendencies. And so, like, he called out.
Good reference there, Fred.
And I was like, one day, finally, I was listening to Suicidal Tendencies for whatever reason, and then he starts going into that tune, whatever that song's called, I forget. Breakdown, something.
Yeah.
And institutionalized.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a second, that's what Fred was talking about in that Limp Bizkit tune. I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the stuff about power drinks there, that is quality podcast content.
I figured that'd be good while you're.
But anyway, on the Suicidal Tendencies, dude, I saw them perform at the intersection, aka the shitter section, a while back. Holy shit! The front man, he is busted up physically.
Really?
Yeah, he's fat. Okay, I should say fatter because he's older. All of them get like that in some way, like Axl Rose and that.
Yeah.
He actually did look a lot like Axl Rose, I would say that. Like the current one. And like, he had this weird dance that he would do, like, during like, the breakdowns and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Like, here, I'll just show you right now. It's basically like, okay, he's jiggling like this, jingle jangling, and he would like do this Macarena shit like.
Hasn't he always done that though?
I don't know.
Isn't that part of his like dance?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't looked up like old vids of him or anything. But yeah, basically, it looked like a guy with like.
Right, like he's trying to swim through Jello.
That's him.
Yeah,
right
he's
there.
always done that. He's like, gets his little arms out there.
Oh, he has.
Like, it looks like he's exercising. Almost.
Basically, it looks like a guy who's going through alcohol withdrawals. Like he's trying to do the Macarena while swimming. So he's like. He also went on like a big rant against Bernie Sanders, and it was basically just this individualistic bullshit that doesn't really relate to real life. He's like, yeah, Bernie Sanders won't fucking help you. No one's gonna fucking help you. You need to do this and that. I'm like, oh, really? You don't have health care, dude? Like, you're totally helping yourself when you can, like, barely move around stage? Come on. I will say this, too. Suicidal Tendencies fans are fucking scary as shit. I mean, holy crap. Like, they actually had actual bikers there. Wow. In the pit with the fans. Also, a little later on, I saw Dropkick Murphys for the first time. I think it was May's second time, whatever. I saw him at 20 Mile Road Live, and that's a nice graphic. Yeah. It was like the younger version of himself in front of a Pepsi logo. Yeah. But, of course, the Dropkick Murphys bought everyone up for, like, the last song to, like, sing along and all that shit. Mm-hmm. It's getting with too much people, so the bouncers are starting to throw people off. One guy comes up there with a Suicidal Tendencies, windbreaker on. He was like about to throw him off, but then like he saw the windbreaker says Suicidal Tendencies, like he just backed off and threw some other people.
Never mind, I'm gonna pick on one of these defenseless children instead.
Yeah, exactly. God, fuck the shitter section and their fucking shitty bouncers.
That's elite security, right? Like that's a contracted security firm.
They are fucking awful. I was so happy when one of my first shows when I moved to Grand Rapids, I saw was Danny Brown, Action Bronson, and God, I forget the band name, but they're basically like this white punk rock band that Odd Future put out through their label. I forget their name, but they were performing and they had like a circle pit going. Like the singer was out on the main floor, and like the OF kids, Odd Future kids, they're kind of like juggalos or deadheads for Odd Future. They like did a circle pit, and like these bouncers like got in there, were like trying to quote unquote protect the singer. These guys were like dicks from the get go. Yeah, all the OF kids just start fucking sucker punching these flatheads. And like they couldn't like get around to like throw a punch at them or anything back. It made me so fucking happy. Fuck these bouncers. Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bugged me.
Like, that's the thing. Despite my rant, I don't like totally hate bouncers. Actually, one of my favorite musicians in Grand Rapids, Rob Bruce, is technically a bouncer for the Pyramid Scheme. So I don't have like a total hatred of them, but I do get very much pissed off at some of these security companies, these fucking flatheads who are cool with like, fucking grabbing hair of like young punkers or even teenagers, like these fucking wannabe tough guys. Hell, there's even a dude here in Kalamazoo that I used to see back when I lived here. Most recently, I saw him. He was doing security at Dave Chappelle when he came at the Kalamazoo State Theater. Mm-hmm. Just this big fat motherfucker who I remember would basically do the same stuff. He would
just brutalize people for no real reason.
Yeah. I'm like, God, you're still around, you piece of garbage.
Yeah, that stuff gets frustrating, man. Like, there's a long history of rock shows and punk shows and the security guards that have to work them, and like those guys get like balls put on their head and like people dump beers on them and shit on them.
Oh, that was Marilyn Manson, I think. He got sued for that.
Yeah, certainly, and he wouldn't be the only one at all.
Well, yeah. One of my favorite videos was if you ever, I know that you're a Nirvana fan. You ever see the one where like Kurt Cobain was like, this was like during the Bleach era. Mm-hmm. He went crowd surfing, and the bouncer tried to like pull him back on stage as per their job, and Kurt decided to like start bashing him in the head with his guitar. Did you ever see that video?
No.
Oh, look it up right now. And I guess keep the sound off for like copyright shit.
Well, my speakers aren't hooked up right now, so we're good there.
That's a good point. And basically, okay, I'll just wait for you to look it up. I should say, by the way, when I was getting my water, I noticed that you have an unopened Natty Light there.
So that Natty Light, there's a story if you want to hear.
Yeah,
about the story
let's
of the
hear
Natty
that
Light.
quickly.
Okay, so the Natty Light, we were talking about King Charles the Rapper earlier. He was having a long night of debauchery of various kinds, mostly drinking, and he came in to the office at like 3 a.m. And of course, I just work constantly, so I'm up at that time, but I haven't drank alcohol in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not drunk, I'm not, fucked up and shit at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm just tired because I've been working all the time. Well, he comes in, wobbling around, and he's got this Natty Light, and I'm like, what the fuck you got this Natty Light for? And he looks at it and he goes, I don't even think I fucking paid the guy for this. So what happened is he was walking back here, drunk, leaving some bar, and he had bought this Natty Light for like a premium price from a homeless man because so basically what he's going through in his head is he's like, oh, I gave this homeless man $3 for that Natty Light because in Michigan we can't purchase alcohol after 2 a.m. So it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Life sucks in Michigan.
Right, well, it's pretty common for that. But he couldn't buy any more alcohol, and of course he wanted to continue drinking. So there was this man on the street that had alcohol, so he purchased it, but then never drank it because it was like warm and, it's Natty Light, like who wants it? So it has sat on top of my refrigerator since.
I saw that when I was getting my water here while you were going on about your love of Lipton and Nestle. And I'm thinking like, okay, that's obviously not his because he's sober. How cool would it be right now if I didn't have shit to do afterwards and I just start pounding that while you're going on about iced tea?
Just pound the Natty Light. No,
fuck yeah.
It's a fixture. See, all I can get is Kurt Cobain being attacked. And
Yeah. That's the one. Yep, that's the one.
Okay, so this is the one. Okay, so Kurt gets him and then gets his ass kicked. Okay.
Yeah, right now, I believe they're trying to remember. Okay, there he goes. He's jumps on in.
Right, so the guy pulls him back.
There he goes. Here we go. Watch. He tries to, pull him in there. Boom.
Oh.
Like, he gets, 2 hits on him. And there we go. Boom.
Yeah.
And the band stops. Dave Grohl and all of them just jump in to, separate.
Yeah, Chris Novoselic.
And of course they blur him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see, he is bleeding. Kurt fucked him up. He got 2 really good shots at him. So in a way, Kurt's at fault here.
Most of what happened to Kurt Cobain in Kurt's life was his fault.
Indeed it was. But as you see, he's trying to get back there in order to fight him.
Yeah.
But then you have to remember too is that even up until the end, you call him hypocritical and that, but yeah, Kurt was punk rock. He had the punk ethos. And one of that is, fuck bouncers.
Yep.
Even if their job is to protect you.
Yeah, it's hard, man. That's one of those things. It's it's the same. This is a firebrand topic and statement, but it's kind of the same thing with cops. You respect the fact that you need somebody that you can call if someone's fucking you up, but also if it's literally someone's job to get paid to be strong enough to beat people up and to have all the weapons and all of the authority, that's also bad.
Yeah, it is.
We need to be able to police the police, and it's the same thing with these security guards. They're paid to keep the place safe, but when their reaction to things is violent, then they're not doing their job because they're using violence to prevent violence. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it's completely subjective.
Exactly.
Like I said, they'll go around punching a bunch of OF Odd Future fanboys, but they're not gonna fuck with the suicidal tendencies fan. But yeah, tell me, Zach Elmblad, in all your bands from Konrad Twitty Band, 3 Mile Island, and beyond that.
What else? Steel Star Experiment. There was Mexum, Kerplunk, and Forbidden Intentions.
Oh, nice. But have you had any interactions with bouncers, good or bad, particularly?
We've never really played shows big enough to have had issues with security. When I was the manager at Big Burrito, we had a security guard, and that became interesting a couple of times, because he was a great guy, but he was definitely a Goliath motherfucker, and his job, like his day job, was to wrestle the apes that get tested at MPI Research in Madawan. Like, that was his job, is to, like...
Apes? You mean, like,
actual monkeys and orangutans and fucking bonobos and stuff. Yeah, they do animal testing, and his job is to, like, remove the animal from the cage and bring it to be, like, restrained.
Joe Rogan is boss.
Right. Well, this guy he's a beautiful man. He's got a lovely family. He's not a violent person, but you could see the switch flip in his head, where, he would go from, like, okay, it's 3 a.m., he's just casually talking to people, and then a punch would get thrown, and this guy would float in, like, 3 steps, 150 feet, like, and he would just lift people up by their skulls, like, just his fucking hands were so big, if even somebody my size, he could just pick them up by their head with one arm and remove them.
Oh yeah, I know at least 2 people that are like, you can't believe just how big or strong they are. It's like,
exactly,
it's almost unnatural.
And I would get a little queasy, because it's like, well, you're not any better than these guys, than this guy that's beating up on this chick, and you're gonna remove the guy. Okay.
Well, okay, that's legit right there.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It's his job, right?
Yeah.
But what he should have done is just, you didn't have to risk injuring the person and getting us sued by manhandling the guy from the top of his head when you're more than strong enough to just grab him by the arms and guide him, And in fact, that would have been more effective, because when he would grab people by the head, they would immediately start flailing, and he'd get hit, and he'd have a bloody face. I'd have to send him to the doctor and pay for it and shit. And it's like, well, you brought that on yourself, because you could have restrained this guy in a more responsible way.
Well, you think he was also doing that because maybe he was hoping for that kind of response?
Yes,
and then,
exactly.
Then it's like, well, they hit me after flailing, so I get to beat the shit out of them.
And that is that's where you would see in this guy. He's a nice guy, but there was this thing that would happen.
Okay, that's disgusting, and that's not professional.
No.
Like, I can understand removing people, but just be like, okay, I'm just gonna beat the living fuck out of them because I want to. No. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. And so I don't have many direct experiences with security guards as, like, venue staff or as third-party contractors hired by a venue for security. Usually the shows we play, it'll just be one guy that is the door person / security guard, and the biggest extent I've seen is him or her, in some rare cases, break up a fight maybe, or call the cops. You don't see him breaking out the baseball bat. You don't see him, pulling out a pistol and threatening people to get out of there.
Well, and you also have to remember, too, that, a lot of these guys can take on, a fucking teenage punk rocker easy, but they're more than willing, like, cops to just gang up on you.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, and then at that point, it's just not okay,
Yeah, even if they are in the right somehow, what kind of response that's going to get from the crowd who hasn't seen it all? It's the same thing with cops. You just see, like, 3 or 4 of them just beating the shit out of one dude. You're like, fuck that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially with some of these scenes like, hip-hop or punk that are against authority to a big extent.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of their ideology.
And that plays into it, too. Like, you know, imagine being a person who runs a security company, and it's like, well, you got to try to pick the right guys that kind of know what they're getting themselves into, you know, because like if you're a type of person that is used to a certain kind of event, and like people start getting, you know, pushing and shoving, and they're drunk and that kind of thing, it's like you got to be able to withstand a little bit of not physical violence, but like physicality. You know, you got to be able to get shoved a couple of times before you're going to react and bust someone's face open, right? Like, because they're drunk, they're not in control of their faculties. Like, I've seen plenty of kids, dumbass kids, pushing each other around and being dongle tips, and it's like they're so limp-wristed, like, because they're so smashed. They're not a threat, an actual threat to you. But if you use that as like a impetus for you to just start brutalizing these kids, then you're not good. That's not a good thing to do. I don't like that. And that's what I would see with this guy sometimes, is he would just posture himself to be as physically threatening as humanly possible. And I was okay with that. But when it bridged the gap to where he was almost inciting violence toward him so that he could in turn be violent and then physically dominate the people, I didn't see that as a necessary step. Like, just remove them, you know, remove them civilly if possible.
Yeah, so what happened with this guy?
Well, we stopped being as busy, we stopped having fights, stopped being open till 4 a.m, and then we didn't need him anymore, so he just stopped moonlighting as a security guard. He lives near my folks. I still see him often. He doesn't recognize me, though. He's a good guy. Ultimately, I still see him as a good person, even though I did see him exhibit some behaviors that I found questionable.
He's not gonna like listen to this and get pissed and just
never gonna
come on up.
He's never gonna listen to this. Like I said, he probably doesn't even remember my name.
On one hand, I do want people to listen because I want fans. On the other hand, it's like, yeah, this guy should probably not listen to him because we're talking a lot of shit right now.
I'm not talking shit. He knows what happened, but he's proud of it. You know, you know, I would say I'm like Tim. Okay, well there we go. I just named the guy on accident, but
hey,
you know.
Tim is a very nice white man name. No one's gonna really know who it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he is a nice man. I mean, objectively, he's a nice person. He's a good person.
Okay, let's call him something different. Noel.
Yeah,
Noel.
Noel
the bouncer.
Noel has thumbs as thick as my fucking wrists. I'd like he could easily brutalize me too. Like,
dude, the largest guy I've ever seen. First year when I was in Grand Rapids at Argo's bookstore, used bookstore in East Grand Rapids, I saw Glenn Danzig there. Mm-hmm. And
isn't he tiny?
Oh yeah, he's
super
small. No, he was like nearly right next to me. He was looking at shit. And I somehow didn't recognize him until I saw his bodyguard, who's like one of the biggest dudes I've ever seen. Basically, if you want a visual representation of what this guy kind of looked like, okay, you ever play, God, what was that game? It's a beat-em-up game back in the day, Dragon?
Double Dragon?
Double Dragon, yeah.
Okay.
Remember, like, the first game, you're going through and, like, the first boss is this guy that busts through the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this guy kind of looked like. I remember talking to my friend of ours named Ang. You know of him.
Yeah, I do.
And he's personally the toughest guy I know, Ang. And I went to visit because, you know, I still technically lived at the Black Lodge here in Kalamazoo, you know, when I first started working and living in Grand Rapids. Mm-hmm. I told, like, Ang, I love you, dude, but this bouncer was so fucking big that he could break you over his knee Bane style. Wow. As in Bane, who broke Batman over his knee.
Right.
That's how big this guy was, and Ang's the toughest guy that I personally know. I'm like, holy shit.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy that people can get that fucking big, too.
I know. Well, to quote Rogan, you know, it's genetic mutation. Or something like that. Oh, God.
It's gotta be something.
I know. Oh, boy. So, how are things going with Konrad Tweet Band, by the way?
Our next show is this Thursday, which this podcast will probably be released after that show, right?
Maybe.
Either way.
Depends how I feel, I guess.
Well,
I have tried to get out podcasts within like a week that I record them at least.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be sometime this week.
Okay. Well, Thursday, May 23rd, we're playing at Mulligan's in Grand Rapids. We're still, we're shuffling our rehearsal space again, so after this show, we're probably going to be packed up for a couple of weeks trying to figure out where we're moving next. I'm thinking about a place downtown that I had a lead on the last time we were looking.
In Grand Rapids?
In Grand Rapids, yeah.
Okay.
There's several places that you can play at, but in terms of like where you can rent rehearsal space, but they all have different pros and cons. So
this is a great segue because, any plans to play at 741 in Grand Rapids?
Well, we had played at 741 many times, but they have changed ownership again.
Indeed, they have.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to you about that because 741, which kind of like Mulligan's, model themselves as like a local community bar where like punk and metal bands would play for the most part. Free shows. But they have now switched over ownership, and they've rebranded themselves as the Iron Well. Matter of fact, I have the news story here, which has caused a lot of controversy in Grand Rapids.
I've
and of course, a great
heard some of
Facebook
this.
thread. And from GMFR Local Music Showcase.
I know this person, by the way.
Alright, well, I'll just read the article. It's from mbiz.com. It has some spicy hot takes in there.
Alright.
I kind of want to hear your reaction.
Okay.
Allergies. There, just let me take a sip of this Smart Water. This podcast is brought to you by Smart Water that I get from Drake's Party Store because I've been doing this for months now. It's always 2 for $3.
I believe Glacio is the brand, or is the owner of the brand Smart Water, and I believe that is a subsidiary of PepsiCo. Frito-Lay.
Can never escape.
Nope.
Corporations. Burn it all down. Anyway, here's the news story from back in March. New owner acquires local 741. Plans to open new neighborhood bar. Grand Rapids. New ownership plans to turn local 741 into a neighborhood bar after acquiring the site from a partnership involving an affiliate of Third Coast Development LLC. Jay Matthews, owner of Iron Well LLC, purchased 741 Leonard Street Northwest, a local 741 from Third Coast on March 20th. So, like, he literally bought this like 7 days before this article was posted.
I recall.
Yep. Terms of the deal, which include Class C liquor, specialty designated merchant licenses, and the property transition were not disclosed. Local 741, a bar and live music venue operated by 3C Restaurants LLC, Kevin Farhad and Tony Knight per Michigan Liquor Control Commission records, announced on its Facebook page the same day that it purchased by new ownership. Which, by the way, I should mention that there's both a 741 and Iron Well page. They're both like going with like the same stuff, so it's actually kind of confusing.
Yeah, well, I think that they just. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like with before 741, it was Cousins allowed. Cousins or Cousins or
Cousins.
Yeah.
K-U-Z-Z-I-N.
Yeah.
And it was that since like the 70s.
Yeah, so like they did like a transition over to a new page. They didn't like keep it going. Anyway, to continue. Matthews purchased the business along with the Bennett family, which owns Fusion Salon and Spa on West River Drive, and a handful of other small service businesses. Matthews and Bennett also own Steady Fare, a ride-sharing app, which I've never heard of that app. This is Matthews' first time owning a bar and owning commercial real estate. Here we go, the spicy quote. We're going to change the context and turn it into a neighborhood bar that's a little bit country, and a little bit rock and roll, he told MI Biz. So Zach Elmblad,
Yeah.
what did you think of this new approach?
The new approach, in my opinion, is going to fail him. That being said, I am kind of wrapped up in this a little bit because Konrad Twitty Band played regularly every month, sometimes every 2 months at 741. We were a staple there. And I personally, I take the side of Joe Henry, who is Grand Rapids
of American Zombie Inquisition.
Yep, and
also of West Side Rebellion.
Exactly. You know the man. And I'll tell you, that guy does so much for heavy music in Grand Rapids. He was also booking at Mulligan's and running sound. He was booking and running sound at Tip Top Deluxe. He was booking and running sound at there's another place other than those that I listed as well. But the point being is that this guy, he lays himself on the line for this shit, right? And I know that he was somewhat involved in the ownership of 741 in that partnership, or he was a manager of some kind at 741. I know that we dealt with him directly for booking, and for he was the guy that would open up the back door for us to load the shit in. He's the guy that paid us. He's the guy that ran the sound. He's the guy that bossed stuff around, And I wasn't going to the bar because I don't drink, so I wasn't up there except for maybe to get a Pepsi. And
just one Pepsi.
Just one Pepsi, though. And I don't know much about the food and beverage wing of that business, But that being said, when we started playing, it was still cousins, and there would be 5 people there. And by the time this turned around, our last show that we played there, which was I think a couple of weeks before this whole shenanigans came out, there was a significant amount of people there. They were all buying drinks and they were all smiling, and they had seen us before. There was definitely a sense of a growing community there. Yeah. And that is definitely gone now. And so what I think, Joe is doing a really good job of trying to be sympathetic to the new ownership, to try to play a political card of appeasement to that venue in hopes that maybe he'll be able to turn it around once they figure out that they don't want to have country music there every fucking weekend.
Well, that's the thing, too. All the bands that they feature are, original bands. They got their own work, their own sound. Maybe they'll play a cover or two, but that's about it.
Yeah.
The impression I got is that pretty much a lot of the bars in my hometown are out peanuts. Just get your uncle's band who will play the Doors and the Rolling Stones. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And I think that's what a lot of people are expecting, and I having paid attention to Joe and what he's saying, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think these guys really are going to make some type of concerted effort to continue having some of at least the more successful acts come through there and be rock bands.
Yeah.
Maybe not as heavy rock bands.
Well, that's the thing, too. I'm thinking generalized rock, whereas kind of like Mulligan's, which I thought 741 was going to be to the west side, what Mulligan's is to the east side.
I think that's what everybody wanted and expected.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And wouldn't it be awesome if that did exist?
Yeah, I mean, it did exist until recently.
Yeah, well, there's the rub, right?
And, to quote some of because the rest of the article is just a bunch of bullshit no one cares about. Mm-hmm. No, spicy comments. But the comments section, let's see. A local musician around here, I won't say their name, said, "This is Matthew's first time owning a bar and owning a commercial real estate. Oh, well, good luck with that. Guess you have some stuff to learn, huh?" There's that. There's my comment where I just put projectile vomits. Which, that's kind of how I feel about the situation, especially the whole a little bit of country, a little bit of rock and roll.
That is very cheesy, yeah.
Yeah,
it's very cheesy, and no one's going to buy that. And, I've been in this business for 25 years, and that shit is not going to fucking work.
Yeah.
You can't have those two crowds in the same room. Dude, there's this... Okay, so My story about this is there was a time where I was booking myself as a professional DJ along with my cousin, and we got
KC.
A different cousin.
Oh, okay.
That cousin does not want to be associated with that at all, I don't think. But he might actually listen to this.
You have a lot of artistic cousins. I'm actually kind of jealous.
I do. My family and I.
You literally have two brothers that are literally willing to start in a film with you.
Yeah, dude. Well,
And
my brothers are visionary actors. Man.
Yeah,
They're very
and
good.
you got two musician cousins.
Yeah.
It's like, goddamn.
Yeah.
Dude.
I got a couple more. There's an 18-year-old, 19-year-old cousin of mine that's playing drums up in Grand Rapids. He's making waves. He's doing good shit.
Dude, as someone who's like pretty much the only artist in my family, except for like a second cousin who didn't do the cover, but bought the rights to like a picture of the cover for Animaki.
So,
yeah.
Dude, I had to pave the way for my family. Like, if we want to diverge into a little family story real quick, dude.
Yeah,
my family used to think I was gay because I didn't have a girlfriend, and then my actual cousin is gay and got married to a man.
Nice.
And like, it's so funny because they would compare me to him, and they'd be like, well, this cousin has so many female friends, and he's always talking to girls, and how come you never bring a girl to the family dinner, like blah 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 blah. And they're like, they're asking my mom, is Zach gay? Blah blah blah. Well, it turns out that the cousin that they were comparing me to was the gay one. Like, he married a man.
I could go into another podcast, but I'm pretty sure there's been many a time that my dad thinks I'm gay.
Yeah, well, and fuck them. No one needs to even worry about it. Like, First of all, what would it matter if I was gay? Second of all, why do you care I fuck? Why?
You will make Jesus cry.
Why is my aunt worried about who I'm fucking? Like, well, that is the last thing that she needs to be thinking about. You know what I mean? And so that anyway, my point is I kind of had to pave the way in my family for all of this shit to fly. Like, I was definitely the first kid wearing black and like acting sullen and like listening to alternative music. Well, my cousin, my older cousin, definitely turned me on to a lot of the music that I liked when I was in middle school, high school. But yeah, in many ways he paved the way for all that stuff too. I can't discredit him at all. But like, my younger cousins and my brothers definitely had the acceptance. Like, it was a lot higher by the time they had gotten to that point.
All right, quickly, back to Iron Well.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you said you bring up a story. Okay, you two used to DJ there.
Yeah, okay. I didn't DJ at Cousins, but we used to DJ bars, right? And I got hired by a DJ company in town as a subcontractor to go do this gig. And it was at this place that no longer exists called the like Timeout or the Halftime or the 50/50 or something like that in Three Rivers. And the building was directly split in half in color scheme and decoration. One side was a Chicago Bears side, the other side was a Detroit Lions side, right? And also, their clientele was half bikers and half country western type people. Yeah. So basically what happened is we showed up at this bar. The first 2 hours of our time slot, no one was there. We played music that we liked and talked to the bartender chick, and that's all we did for the first 2 hours. The next hour, some people started showing up, and they wanted us to play country music. Well, we didn't have any country music. We didn't play country music. So we did the best we could. I think we played some Kid Rock. I think we had some...
Kind of like the Blues Brothers in that scene where they had to...
Exactly, dude. That
is kind of weird.
And that's kind of where we're going with this, is now a couple of 21-year-old kids come in, and they want to hear Jay-Z, okay? So I'm mixing Kid Rock to Bob Seger to Jay-Z.
Oh,
and
God.
this is where I'm struggling, right? I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do this? Like, so basically, I'm not even cross-fading anything. I'm just playing it playlist style, like back to back, like where there's no point in trying to mix this.
Yeah, you're just not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing like that. And then, so we got the country western guys, we got the kids that want to play rap, and then the biker guys come in and they want Rage Against the Machine. So here I am cycling.
Rage?
Yeah.
That I did not expect.
Well, it was that particular biker crowd and
guess.
what they wanted to listen to that day.
I guess so.
Anyway, I'm sitting here trying to mix between like one song country western, one song like rap or dancey, and then one song hard rock. And like I'm dealing with like my laptop, which it's like 2006 at this point, so I don't have a lot on that laptop. There's no Spotify, all I have is what I've burnt, like ripped off of my own CDs or illegally downloaded. Like that's the music I had on my laptop. And then the guy who hired us gave us 2 crates of just random CDs from the 90s and early 2000s. So like, there was like Jewel was in there.
Nice.
And like, there was options, right? Like I wasn't fucked. Like there was stuff we could play.
I'm sorry, sirs. I don't have any rage, but I do got some LFO.
Right? Yeah, dude. The what was the Steal My Sunshine? I think is another.
That's the good one.
Len, I think is the name of that band. Steal My Sunshine.
How about How Bizarre?
How bizarre!
How
How bizarre! Yeah, exactly.
Baby.
And that's the kind of stuff that we're trying to like that's how you buffer between a hard rock tune and a rap tune. Okay, you can play a song like that, or that's how you would buffer between like a classic rock tune and a country rock tune. Like you could play a pop tune. Like that's how you're gonna make the sandwich work. Like how you're gonna stack stuff so that it's not like boom 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 and then like the BPM's not the same, the key's not the same, the tone's not the same, the EQ isn't the same. Like as a DJ, like as a person who's trying to like entertain people, like it's just so abrupt in its change that it just distracts people from their environment. Like they're thinking about it, like why the fuck is he playing Jay-Z right now? Like, and so I feel like it's the same struggle that this guy's gonna have. Like no one's gonna know, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is country music night, Tuesday, Thursday is rock music night. If a person wants to show up to a bar that's supposed to be a neighborhood bar that plays music, they want to be able to reasonably expect, okay, I'm gonna hear music that I might remotely like here, And you can take the angle of like, well, if you really appreciate music, then any kind of music is going to sound good to you. Well, that's not true, man.
No.
It's all about mood and all about how you're thinking and feeling at the time. So you can't go to this happens at Papa Pete's all the time. In Kalamazoo, right?
Yeah.
People go in there and they want to hear some fucking dubstep, right? And then there's some jam band playing, or there's a comedian or something.
Yeah.
And that's not what they want, so they leave. You know.
Actually, I want to read another comment here, not by a musician, by a fan, and it's not like a troll comment like I do. It's actually a very substantial comment on another neighborhood bar there on the west side. Did the new owners do any research at all as to what the clientele was previously like before 741 took over? Do they realize what kind of neighborhood they're moving into? That area of the west side is my home. I lived down the road from that bar for years. And these days I wouldn't go out after dark by myself around there. If they want an idea of the neighbors, send them into the web just around the corner. Or the Point. Both are bars around there. Mm-hmm. They'll see what kind of customers used to frequent Cousins. Basically all the lowlifes that had nowhere else to go after Conkles got bought out and turned into yet another Beer City hipster bar. And now they all want the punks and metalheads are going away. That low trashy crowd will be back.
And I think that there's a lot of truth in that comment too. I don't live in Grand Rapids. I'm from I was born in Grand Rapids, but I haven't lived there ever since I was a child. So I don't really know the ins and outs of those scenes. But for me, it would be like if someone I can't even think of a good example. Like there isn't a trash pit bar that got bought by somebody and then turned into a rock and roll bar, and then immediately abruptly changed their types of music that they were playing. Like I don't know of another example of that locally, but what I do know of is say a place like Louie's. Like if someone bought Louie's and tried to turn it into a country western bar, I think they would do okay. because Louis has that kind of crowd, right?
Yeah, have they been doing any shows? Like, I do follow them because when I come to Kalamazoo once a month, I either like to see you, see other friends, or like if there's a show going on.
Right.
It used to be at Louis, but I haven't seen anything except for like say their comedy nights or karaoke or something.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, there's still shows going on there regularly, but I think that though what you're listing there, the karaoke and all that stuff, that's doing better for them. Like, many times you can go there during a show, and there's more people in the bar listening to the karaoke than there is listening to the show in the back. So I think that they just advertise that more, you know? And, you know, it's hard to run a venue, dude.
All right.
People treat it like shit.
Yeah.
People make comments on Facebook about how you don't do any market research, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard.
And this is another one, because I actually got into an argument with a local producer, quote-unquote, this week about it, is that they're setting up shows, obviously, for the Iron Well, because it's now the Iron Well, and they're charging for the entry there. And a lot of people are pissed off about that.
Yeah, Cousins was always free. 741
yeah,
was always
741 is free. Mulkins is all free.
Yeah.
And of course, I got into an argument with this guy because he kept spamming his comments, which is basically you get what you pay for, and the same people who want to go to free shows also don't tip their waitresses.
That's probably true in many cases, I bet.
Man, I think that went too far. So of course, I got into an argument with him about that. He did the whole, well, I've been produced for 30 years. Fuck you, you fucking cunt. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not helpful or productive at all.
I know. And that's the thing now with my regimen. I get into an online argument maybe like once a week at least. Used to be like 2.
I forgot, you'd kind of do that for sport, don't you?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, that's another thing that I did like about 741 is that, yeah, it did stick to like a lot of the indie punk underground ethic of like free shows.
And that's all Joe, man. That's Joe.
Yeah, so
and that's what I really like about Joe, because he really is trying to build a community. And there's a page that I belong to, like a private group that's like 741 Incarnate, like we didn't die.
I did,
you know?
Actually, I did see that. I should join up on it.
Yeah, you
I was
should.
looking for that story.
Because I think that the people who were operating that, Joe's the only one I know. I know there was other people. I think they're just going to try to do it somewhere else. You know, and they, if you read Joe's posts in that thing, I
should friend him too.
Yeah, he's not being negative about this. He's like, it's like the kid. Let the kid run the place.
Yeah.
Like, let him try it out. If it doesn't work, maybe he'll call us all back. You know.
So I guess I want your opinion. What do you think about the whole free shows ethic? Here's my stand. I understand people that want to get paid and charge for shows. I do support that. Yeah. If it's a reasonable price, which actually from the price they want to show for this country band was pretty reasonable. It's like $2 or $3. But I also understand the importance of like free shows or underground ones. I think that does build community. I think it allows for a wider range of people in there. So, and I just also, like I said, I'm for people making money and making a living, but yeah, I just think there's some people are just overly greedy or just want to set up a precinct like this douchebag producer, air quotes. Yeah. So, what do you think about free shows? Yay or nay?
I think free shows have their place. I think benefit shows have their place. But in general, I expect to pay at least $5 if I'm going to see a band and I want to see them. Yeah. And I don't think that I'm going to be more likely to see a free show because it's free.
Well, how about his comment, his repeated comment, you get what you pay for. Like,
I disagree with that, for sure. How much a band is getting paid has absolutely nothing to do with what their creative output is.
Yeah, because I also base that too, because not just free shows at Mulligan's and some at 741 that I've seen that were great, but since I used to live here, I used to attend house shows.
Right.
Which were all free. I mean, they asked for donations for like traveling bands. You throw in whatever you had in your pocket or whatever you felt you could afford.
Mm-hmm.
I usually threw in like $2 or so. And yeah, they're some of the best shows I've ever seen. They're all free. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do disagree with the whole get what you pay for.
I definitely disagree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
Ironically enough, when I like, of course, looked this guy up because you do that when you argue with people. You look them up,
mm-hmm.
and of course, I see him like shilling for like Sunday Funday matinees at the Tip Top.
See, now I used to play those too.
Yeah, are those free? I forget.
Yeah.
So it's like, you think you wouldn't be shilling these free shows? Yeah, we won't get into the Tip Top either. Ugh.
See, and this is where I don't know much about the politics. Like, I know these people, and I know my interactions with them. Like, I know Joe. A bunch of people don't like him for some reason.
Well,
I think he's a lovely person. He's a great guy.
You're talking about, we could talk about that later.
Okay.
After I don't want to get sued.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, okay, so there you go. Dire well. If they ever switch back or they try to book Konrad Twitty Band, would you do it?
Konrad Twitty Band says yes to any show that lets us play our music.
I mean, you do describe yourself as like psychedelic classic rock, so you could, you do have that little bit of rock and roll there.
Well, and there was a time, especially our earlier material, where we could kind of fit in with a jam band crowd or with a like bluegrass kind of hipster modern folk artist type crowd, because we had a lot of those types of influences. We have a mandolin in our band, now the way that we use the mandolin is completely fucking diametrically opposed to the way that a mandolin is used in traditional folk music instrumentation, but the elements were there. And we take our name from Conway Twitty, who's a country western artist, so like those influences are not gone from us. Like, there's a bit of country in us, know. But I mean, you would never call Konrad Twitty Band a country band,
Yeah.
at all. There's that's 0.5% of the influence is country western music, but we would play, if they called us up and asked us to play, fuck yeah, or messaged us on Facebook, yeah, totally. Like, we're kind of removed from these politics, this drama. Like, I don't know.
But it's so much fun.
Well, none of us have time to deal with it. Like, all we want to do is play our music, and we already know we're not going to make any fucking money off of it. Like, you look at our rigs. I've got like $10,000 into my drum kit. Like, I doubt that, like, in my share, I don't think I've made $1,000 playing music live. No. I've made money. I've made plenty. I've made hundreds of dollars, but not thousands of dollars.
With that type of thinking, I bet you don't tip your waitress.
I always tip my waitress, but I don't drink. I'll throw a $5 bill for a $2 Pepsi. I shouldn't even have to pay for that goddamn Pepsi.
Even if it's just one Pepsi.
Yeah, it's just one Pepsi.
All right. No, this is a good way to end it. Plus, I gotta get back to Kalamazoo because the second person that I'm going to be interviewing this week to potentially take over the room that we have open is going to be at 6. So yeah, anything you want to show, dude?
I don't really have much in the way of new releases to talk about. I'm still working on my 6th book. Konrad Twitty Band is still working on our first full-length studio recording. I've been working on a bunch of stuff, but it's not anything anybody wants to start promoting actively yet. So, Mute Solo app. I was involved with that. You should check that out if you're interested. That's like a multi-track audio listening tool that my buddy Gino designed. That's pretty cool. Mute Solo is the name of it.
Yeah. Well, I do have something to shill since we literally published it today.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I can't. Yep. I'm so bad. Oh.
No, everyone, GODAN, Queen of the Third Coast, has literally just been published a few hours ago. I will link all that shit in my pages and the comments. You can find us on this podcast on the Internet Archive and YouTube. Check out my website, GarretSchuelke.tumblr.com. I'm back on Twitter these days, at Garret Schuelke. Yeah, that's the show.
Elmbladmedia.com.
Yep. Elmblad Media Group, check them out. Konrad Tweet Band, check it out. And thank you all for listening. Thank you, Zach, for being on, for all your hard work and dedication. And thank you all for listening. Here's the outro song.
Bye.